Glad to have you all with us. We're about 2 minutes late. It just clicked, so we're going to get started. Of course, I'm still an hour behind. I don't know about y'all with the changing of the time, but we'll get started pretty much on time. We're going to ask Chairman Roberts, if he will, as our tradition, open our meeting with a word of prayer. If y'all will bow with us.
Let's pray. Most kind of gracious Heavenly Father.
Also remember another Jay's family, Jay Powell, and his daughter, who's I think in Emory now, and certainly we'll ask you to keep her in your Jessica, is that right? I think it's Jessica Powell. Keep her in your prayers, if you will. She's had a serious health setback, and we need to remember them. The whole family. We have an interesting meeting this morning. We're going to start with one of our new representatives, Spencer Fry, who members you we have. This is not Economic Development Committee, but it is fish is in the nomenclature of our committee. So we want to have a quick comment from Spencer on an opportunity he can tell us about that's in his district.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Chairman. I just wanted to say I'm presenting y'all with some whack-em baits. Those of you who fish, y'all need to use them. This is a bait. It's a hand-poured bait that's made right outside of my district by one of my fraternity brothers, Sid Mackay. It lives in Athens, but the whack-em baits is in Crawford, Georgia. And the largest spotted bass was caught last weekend at Lake Russell on these baits. So y'all be sure and be careful when you use them. And this is just a great Georgia company. And I figured this would be a good spot to let everybody know about them. I appreciate your time. I know you got some urgent business to take care of. Thank you, Chairman Burns.
Spencer, we appreciate it. We know if he's a Sigma Chi, he's got to be a good guy, right?
Absolutely.
No doubt about that. That certainly goes without saying.
Thank you.
And we want to get Philip up one day. And,
absolutely. We'll get him maybe next session. He's out passing the baits out right now. Actually, he's his own distributor, but they're doing great. They're hosting some college tournaments and high school state tournaments, and they're doing very well. And they have a state record under their belt.
Absolutely. We need to support the good Georgia companies. Thanks a lot.
Yes,
we appreciate it. Well, we have a little business to tend to this morning. We have the governor's floor leader, I think, is going to present Senate Bill 136, and we also have some other visitors that Jack's taking care of right now, so we appreciate you keeping those fellows calm, Jack. If you'll keep doing that, we'll be appreciative, I can tell you that. No, I didn't. Did you do that?
Jumping into the well again.
Well, I think he's been guilty of that before. Floor Leader Chad Nimmer will present Senate Bill 136 at this time. We would certainly appreciate you taking the hot seat there, sir. And I
tell you what, I'm gonna sit here where I keep eye on the back.
That's all right. It's a good move, probably.
That's all right.
So we'll appreciate you bringing this legislation before us, and it's good legislation. We know you have some backup out in our audience that may want to say something, so we'll allow you to at the appropriate time to recognize them and have some discussion. But we're looking, ladies and gentlemen of the committee, at LC 295618. ERS-EC. That's a sub to Senate Bill 136. That's the document that Representative Nimmer will be working off. Mr. Floor Leader, glad to have you. Floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. I bring before you for your consideration this morning Senate Bill 136. Senator Butch Miller had the privilege and the opportunity to shepherd this bill through the Senate and passed with favorable consideration, and every time they had a vote on it and in agreement on the floor that this is good legislation for the state of Georgia. I know Chairman Roberts is already picking on me this morning, so I'm assuming that I'm going to have some questions, Chairman Burns, in a few minutes. But just very briefly, I don't know if everybody's had the opportunity to go over the bill, but this changes the boating under the influence blood alcohol content level from 0.10 down to 0.08, which will put it in compliance with what a DUI standard is currently. It gives us some new updates in vessel operation, boating education. It changes the current Georgia law to put us in compliance with U.S. Coast Guard recommendation for life jackets, that's personal flotation devices, up through the age of 12. There's been some confusion on the language. It is under the age of 13, not 13 and under. So up through the age of 12, you'll be required to wear a life jacket. Now, the question came up yesterday that if you're out on the lake, 4th of July, and you're out boating and you go into the lake and you stop your vessel out in the lake and you switch the motor off, do you have to leave the life jacket on while you watch the fireworks display, which is a very popular thing? The answer is no. It's only while the boat is in motion that you have to have the life jacket on. So family goes out for a picnic out on the lake, want to enjoy watching the fireworks. Whenever that vessel stops, the kids 12 and under at that point are allowed to legally take their life jackets off, as long as mom and daddy needs to continue to keep a good watchful eye on them. It also updates in code the requirements for the navigation lights on vessels. That is per the U.S. Coast Guard guide. And it changes not only boating under the influence, but hunting under the influence. We're going to put hunting under the influence in line with the DUI laws, and also upon passage of this bill and the governor signing this bill, will be in compliance. DUI, BUI, and HUI will all be on the same line from a blood alcohol standpoint. Mr. Chairman, that's the bill. It's good legislation. It's good government. And if there's any questions, I'll be happy to try to answer them.
Thank you, Chad. Questions from the committee? Obviously, you do an excellent job, but I don't know if any of the rest of you want to speak or not after that.
They're scared of the cats.
No doubt.
Say again? Yeah.
We do have one question. We messed around too long there. Chairman
Okay.
Roberts has a question.
Yes, sir.
Actually, a serious question, though, Mr. Leader. Did y'all have the hunting part in there when it left the Senate, or is that part of the sub?
No, the hunting part was in there. The sub was just language clarification, and I will tell you where that is. Ms. Curry, if I may recognize Ms. Curry, she can point to it quicker than I may, Mr. Chairman. Is that okay? What was the language? I'll find it right here.
Lauren, if you want to come up closer to the mic, that'd be great. This is Lauren Curry. She's one of our most valued members of the DNR outfit over there.
Yes, sir. The only change that we made in the sub, as it's come from the Senate to the House, is on line 55, where we had the National Association of State Boating Law Administrators. That was incorrect. The acronym is NASBLA, and that actually stands for National Association of State Boat License Administrators. I'm sorry, I got it wrong. It was National Association of State Boat License Administrators. It should have been National Association of State Boating Law Administrators. So we made that change on line 755 and then also on line 178 and 179. And that's the only change in the sub.
We appreciate you getting that exactly correct. Other questions? We appreciate Ms. Julia Taft with the Governor's Office helping with this bill, and the Governor's Office input, and certainly it's good legislation. We know that our waterways are very busy, and I'm glad that Beeline agrees with that.
That was a motion.
That was. We would, at this point, Mr. Leader, if you don't mind, we would like to represent Colonel, Major, Colonel.
Yes.
Colonel, I want to get that right for sure. Eddie Henderson from DNR to come and speak to us with the LE folks, and we appreciate what you guys do for us in keeping the public safe, because this is about public safety.
Right. Good morning.
Colonel.
Appreciate you looking at this bill here. This is one of those pieces of legislation that we have been wanting to get changed for several years now, and we are really glad that it's moving forward. You know, our officers that are out in the field working, you know, their number one thing when it comes to boating is the public safety aspect of that, and the tools that are provided to them. Yes.
I wanted to recognize Senator Williams and Jack. We're glad y'all were able to stop by and keep the cats under control. Thank you, Senator. I apologize.
That's fine. But, you know, the public goes out for their time on the lake as recreational time, and our officers understand that. And our goal is for everybody that goes out to come home at the end of the day. And this enhances the tools that our folks have there on the waterway when we're changing the blood alcohol concentration. You know, all this is good legislation. Our department fully supports this and appreciate a good vote, positive vote on this today.
Any questions for Colonel Henderson? We appreciate what you and your folks do for us.
Thank
I know you're stretched thin, but we
Yes.
appreciate the ground you cover and the water you cover. So thanks a lot. We appreciate you being here.
All right, thank you.
We also have Miss Amanda Cook with the Children's Health Care of Atlanta. Amanda, we'd love to hear from you. Good morning. Good to have you with us. It's the first time I think we've seen you at this committee.
I'm enjoying this. I'm used to Health and Human Services, and we don't get animals there, so this is quite different for me.
Well, welcome.
I know. I know. I'm going to try not to say anything.
Don't talk too loud. I'm kidding.
I know. It's a little intimidating. But just want to say thank you for bringing this bill forth. We're very supportive of it. It helps protect our kids on waterways, particularly the provision that increases the age requirement for life vest. It's actually estimated that nearly half of all youth drownings could be prevented if the child was wearing a life vest. Drowning is actually the second cause of injury-related deaths for children ages 1 to 14. So we're very supportive of this. If we can answer any questions.
Repeat that. What did you say?
Drowning is the second leading cause of injury-related deaths for children ages 1 to 14. Wow. Typically, you see infants that are bathtub drownings. It's your toddlers that are pools, and then older open waterways.
Thank you, Amanda. Any question? Representative Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My question, I honestly don't know how will fines for violators, how will that be determined?
Say it again,
I might have to waive that one.
Amanda, we may let the Colonel answer that one.
All the fines and forfeitures are decided by the local judges. You know, each county basically sets that fine. Our department has nothing to do with that. If we issue a citation, then that judge has the discretion to decide what the fine is.
I appreciate that. Chairman, the reason I asked that question is, of course, it's up to the judges. And this issue, legal. It's unbelievable. You've got some Lone Rangers out there. It just reminds me of the bad old days when it comes to fines for any offense. And I just don't want to see this happen to a very good bill. And if you're drinking, mine should be the same as it is for DUI. But my goodness, one place shouldn't have 1,000, another have 1,800. And they're all over the place. That's a good problem. Tired of hearing.
No, I was going to go a different way there, Mr. Chairman Roberts. We were looking for a bill that would have nonpartisan support, bipartisan support the other day for you. That may be it.
I so move.
That's for another, absolutely. Okay. That's for another day. But point well made. Thank you. Any from Amanda?
You did good.
Let me tell you, we all know what a wonderful resource children's health care here in Atlanta is for folks not just from Georgia but all around our region and in the country. So thank you for what you guys do, and thank you for your advocacy on this issue. Any other comments from the members of the Mr. Leader, would you like to close anything before we accept the motion?
No, sir, Mr. Chairman. I just appreciate the time from the committee and from you to allow me to present this bill, and I'll just ask for y'all's favorable consideration on the passage of this bill.
If there's no further discussion, I'd recognize Representative Williams for a motion.
I move for a due pass.
We have a due pass motion. Do I have a second? Have a second. All those in favor, let it on by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. We appreciate y'all bringing the bill, and all of those of you that have supported it and worked on it. We appreciate it. We look forward to passage on it.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you. At this time, I want to recognize Chairman Chuck Martin, who has some guests with him that we would allow him to introduce to us at this time. Chairman Martin.
Please, the committee, the bill we had that would deal with this issue is 462, and I don't believe the chair wishes to get into depth on the bill today, and certainly not to vote on the bill. But it came about when I talked to some people I guess back early, right after we got out here last spring, about some animals that are used in therapy, and in the bill, they're covered. If we go back into our legislation, they're covered in the section of Georgia Code that says the following animals are considered inherently dangerous to human beings and are subject to licensure. And we can talk about a lot of things, but if you look at these guys behind me, they're anything but inherently dangerous. So if I could, Mr. Chairman, in the interest of the committee's time, if you'd allow me to come back when the presentation is finished, but I'd like to introduce Deborah and Jennifer and Motzi and Peanut, and let them tell you a little bit about how this kind of came about and what we need to look at maybe over the interim and perhaps get some legislative action to help them.
I would appreciate that. You just need to clarify who's Motzi and Peanut.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding, ladies.
They can speak for themselves, Mr. Chairman.
We welcome you folks, and Mr. Chairman, that's fine. Committee posture on this is that this is not a bill we will take a vote on. We're just gathering some information and learning some new things about some different parts of God's creation as these beautiful cats. So, Deborah?
Yes, sir.
Deborah, would you like to speak to us? We'd appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you for being here, and thanks for bringing our guests with us.
Representative Martin is correct. I saw him last spring when I came through for a cat show. These two guys are always on exhibition at cat shows for educational purposes to show the people that they're not dangerous and wild animals because they're of their inheritance. But every single cat that's on this planet that has been tamed by man. Dr. Leslie Lyons out of UCLA in California has done an extensive study on the DNA of all cats around the world, even the feral cats, that all cats go back to Africa, even the ones that we have today. So all in all, because somebody came along with this word hybrid, which I'd love to throw out of Webster's dictionary because everything on this planet is a hybrid if we look at it seriously. It really does a disservice to cats like these because of their lineage. Motzi is an F2, which means his great-great-grandfather is an African serval. Peanut is a third generation, so he's back 3 generations, and his great-great-great-grandfather is an African serval. Besides the Bengals, these two are the newest breeds, along with Shausies and Kirkles, which came after the Savannahs, are the first time in 1,000 years that new breeds have been created, and basically the feline industry has been condemned. And if they only knew, with the older breeds, there's too many health issues popping up, and if we don't create new breeds, we're going to have a lot of cats going out of existence. The same thing with dogs. The AKC says that genetically now they have all kinds of problems because when they first started the AKC, if you look at the original photos and the dogs we have today, we've done these dogs a disservice, and we're trying to avoid that as a feline industry with the International Cat Association, because we do work with people overseas, Europe, and everything. And we want these cats accepted from F1 on and not given a label as dangerous when they're not.
Thank you. Any questions from the committee?
Yes, sir.
The cat, the way it's taken, do you think it's thinking about dinner time?
He's like, why did you get me up so early? I was sleeping nicely.
They're very observant. That's one of the things that you do see in the newer breeds, is they're very observant. They're very, that's why they make such wonderful therapy cats, seizure alert cats. You know, they're very similar to dogs, very dog-like. Walk on a leash, they'll fetch, they'll roll over, they'll play dead. I mean, it's like a dog, but you don't have to take it out necessarily to go to the bathroom.
You save on cat litter, though.
So,
I wouldn't take my shoe off, Representative Donahue. If you took, I was looking at your foot, I think. You got to fix it.
No, Mozzie's a very docile guy. He's my service animal, and from the pictures you can see he's done pet therapy. He's models on Jaguars and everything.
Chairman Knight.
Tell me a little more about what a serval is and where it's originated.
An African serval is a cat that stands about 36 inches at the shoulder. They weigh anywhere between 35 and 65 pounds, depending upon what part of Africa they come from. And they're mainly used for rodent control. The Egyptians had them to keep them in the granaries, to keep rats and mice out so they could have something to eat. Caracals, servals, and cheetahs were the oldest domesticated cats in the world. And I spoke with the Dr. Zahawasi in Egypt about that.
I guess further up, Mr. Chairman, I'm just trying to figure out its origin. I mean, it's a wild, that is a
Yes, sir. But in the United States, they're like 20, anyway, between 15 and 75, I'm sorry, 15 and 25 years removed from the wild, and they have not imported servals in 20 years. So we've been breeding here in the U.S.
I guess a question, right? They're beautiful animals. But one of my questions is, and we see this out in the wild now, but if you turn a cat out, I mean, if it's wild enough, it still has enough that it goes back feral. I mean, I guess that's a...
True.
What kind of predator is this compared to
Good question.
I can answer that very easily.
Well, and it was a serious question from a wildlife perspective.
Right.
I think we all have seen in the last couple of years, and I think it's a concern, is especially with Florida and a lot of new species being introduced, and that's just that's an honest question.
No, it is, and I agree with that. I had...
If I may, Mr. Chairman, and I'm going to let her answer the question, but something I should have mentioned, and Deborah, if you could tell him, like both of these cats are sterile by biology, and that may get to a little bit about what the chairman is. Deborah, if you could,
Yes, sir.
maybe
And the other thing, their Mother Nature, it's called Handel's Law, the law of nature. And it's Mother Nature's way of saying, no, you're not supposed to do this. And you can't get a fertile male until 5th generation. By that time, they're even smaller than him. And if you don't, these cats, Motzi is a $15,000 cat. Peanut.
You're not going to see, if this, if
We can start raising them.
yeah, if this law is amended or changed or whatever, you're not going to see like every other house have these
No,
cats.
sir, not at 15.
And Peanut is a $6,000 cat.
And
And
this
I
is
can tell you,
that's Jennifer Harden. She's from here in Atlanta.
and I can tell you for a fact, Motzi, yes, he's a smart cat. Now, you see this thing on his back? That's his LoJack. He got out from a hotel in Texas while I was en route to Florida for a cat show. He spent 4 days looking at me. The only thing that brought him back was he didn't know how to hunt. He was hungry.
He eats cat food.
He didn't know how to eat. He didn't know how to hunt.
Stop.
Not the first, second, or third possibly the third generation because of the dander.
Well, that was my question. That was my question. Thank you, Jimmy. You're a good man. Hey.
Mr. Chairman, can we put him up on the table?
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to see the big one.
Now, when I pick him up, he'll hum. It's not, he's not growling. He
He'll
just
hum,
hums.
okay.
That's hums. Yeah. Actually, you're not doing. You're a good boy today. You didn't hum.
He didn't hum.
He likes us. This is his kind of committee.
Yeah, he's humming now.
He's humming now.
He's humming now.
What generation is that?
Second.
Second generation.
What about Peanut?
He's third. He has 18% wild still left in him, depending on how he's bred. And Motzi was figured out, and he has close to 30% wild.
Are you allergic to them?
We appreciate you. Thank you, Jason, for being here.
Oh, stop, little grumpy bunny. You know, but as you can, as you can see, Motzi's only been here in Georgia since I guess you could say Monday morning at 2:30. I mean, this is the first time I've ever had him like at my house for more than a 24-hour period. And he's not aggressive in any way towards me. They're very trainable.
And she has 4 children.
Yeah, and the kids run up and down and play with him, and when the smaller kids had rode them almost like a horse.
And this morning he played with their brand new puppy.
Yeah, we got a brand new little puppy, and he just thought that was the cutest thing in the world and wanted to play. It's just bad rep, I think, because of their size.
Other questions from the committee?
Basically, these cats, what they have in height, Maine Coons have in length. But they're long cats.
Gotcha.
In fact, the longest Maine Coon is in South Australia is 48 inches from toe to tail.
Well, that's 4 feet. Last time I checked.
Marcy's the second tallest cat in the world.
Oh, really?
Yes, sir.
A record holder.
Record hold.
Silver medalist, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Any other questions from the committee before we let Chairman Martin wrap up? Thank you, Peanut and Moxie.
Hey there.
Thank you, Deborah. I appreciate you coming back and staying over and coming back and letting us see.
Mr. Chairman, I know the committee has other business to attend to, and I won't keep you. I'll answer any questions, but as you see, and your committee has House Bill 462. It has some language in it that I would like the committee's indulgence, and anyone that is an asset to your committee in terms of DNR or the Department of Ag, we would be glad to work with the committee over the interim. But I think, as you can see, they don't fit the characteristics of being inherently dangerous to humans, and I would like to work with the committee to draft legislation to allow these guys to live in Georgia as they do in other states. That's about as fussy as he'll get, Mr. Chairman, right there. Representative Williams, you can calm down. That's about as fussy as he'll get. I'm thinking about, just in closing, I'm thinking about getting a copy of Moxie there and taking him on the floor with me when I take bills to have him going around and encouraging people to vote with us.
Let's give him Dead Lindsay this morning.
But seriously, Mr. Chairman, I know you need to move along. If there's committee has a question, but I would love to work with the committee in the interim and see if we could draft a solution so that these folks, so folks like Deborah that would like to come back actually and live in Georgia can do so, and others in Georgia like Jennifer that perhaps would like to avail themselves of pets like this to live in their home and to help other Georgians could have that opportunity.
Thank you, Chairman Martin. Thank you, ladies. Thank you, cats. I don't know about cats, but it helps you vote, but I can tell you falcons will get you a unanimous vote.
Yes, sir.
People with falcons. It worked for me. Is there any other business come forward, committee? Thank you again, Chairman Martin. How about anybody from DNR? Is there anything y'all needed to bring before our attention? Thank you, everyone, for attending. We stand adjourned.